Hey, Gamecock fans, on our YouTube page, the Big Spur YouTube page, also on Twitter, it's the Big Spur Brief with JC Sherbert. Wednesday, February 16th. What a shot last night that James Reese made from half court. The Gamecocks won 77-74 at Ole Miss, breaking into, I think, a three-game losing streak to the Rebels. Second straight win on the road in the SEC. That was against the bottom two teams in the league, Georgia and Ole Miss, but the Gamecocks moved up to number 98 in the net rankings. So here's where we're at with this right now. The net ranking is low. I have personal questions about the net. To be honest, I don't really like I guess they call the efficiency quotient with it. I've always thought that, it doesn't matter how you win or lose. It's that you win or lose in sports. And I'm not a big fan of style points. You want to do margin of victory, that's fine. But, that caps at 10 points for a bonus in that. So I think that's probably dragging the Gamecocks down a little bit. If you look at some RPIs, the old way, Gamecocks are up there. So go figure with all of that. But road wins do matter a lot. South Carolina will chase an elusive Q1 quadrant one victory on Saturday against LSU at home. The Bayou Bengals come in, 2-5 road record heading into the game. Gamecocks played them close last year, had a tough loss 2 years ago at the Colonial Life Arena against Will Wade's team. So it could be time for the Gamecocks to get that elusive big home win after the disappointment with Tennessee and Kentucky. You win that one, you got a Mississippi State team that's winless on the road coming in for a Q2 win possibly. And then an 8-7 record with 3 games left in the SEC. 2 of those are very tough, at Alabama and at Auburn, but you also got Missouri. So it's shaping up to where, the final record in the conference is probably going to, could possibly be, with 2 wins coming up, 500 this year, which isn't bad in this league. And, anything 10 below 10 wins in the league, I think is going to put the Gamecocks in a position where they have to win maybe 3 games, maybe get to Sunday at the SEC tournament in Tampa to get on the bubble. But, you pull an upset, you get the 10 SEC wins pre-tournament. That number obviously shrinks, but a good win nonetheless. I mean, anytime you can hit a half-court shot like that, James Reese is a Columbia native. That's the memory of a lifetime right there. And regardless of what your opinion is on the South Carolina men's basketball program, Frank Martin, the future, whatever, you have to be happy for a kid like James Reese. He could have stayed at North Texas. They're in first place right now, but he came and decided to come home and be a Gamecock. And, I think he'd missed 13 3-pointers in a row before getting there at the end last night over in Oxford. And that would have been a devastating loss. Essentially, at that point, you're fighting to get in the NIT at the very least. But there's still hope. It's a very small percentage of hope, but there is still hope for Frank Martin's team. SEC baseball power rankings out on 24/7 Sports. Robbie Weinstein of our Vanderbilt site does that for us. Ranked the Gamecocks 10th, but he also mentioned that, hey, that could get you a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament, and that's possible. I don't think that this baseball program should ever be happy with finishing 10th in the league, and quite frankly, I think that they could possibly finish higher. I think that's going to be the key. I mean, 5th in the SEC East. Gamecocks could probably do better than that. They should do better than that. Those are the standards of the program. But it is what it is in terms of the preseason rankings. I don't ever, after watching so many SEC basketball preseason rankings over the years, where the Gamecocks were picked 12th, even the Final Four team was picked like 9th or 10th. And then they usually finish higher. So I don't really put a lot of stock into it, especially when you're kind of judging a coaching staff. I've seen some ridiculous comments about Mark Kingston just because of the preseason prediction. Now, are the standards of this program being met in baseball? I would probably have to say no. At this point, South Carolina baseball is judged on what happens in the postseason. Last postseason was very disappointing. It was kind of teed up for the Gamecocks to host a super regional, and they couldn't hit the ball. And so that's frustrating for everyone. But I'm not going to sit here and blast the program based on preseason junk rankings, power rankings, whatever you want to call it. I mean, those are just opinions. And a lot of it's just based on last year, but that was last year. Mike Singletary came by the South Carolina football office. I've been talking about this I remember a time during the Lou Holtz era, those of you that were around and on the internet, there's a hot rumor Mike Singletary was going to come to Carolina and coach for Lou Holtz. Never materialized. Of course, he ended up being the head coach of the 49ers for a while. Always good to have Hall of Famers, guys like that around your program. Gamecocks hit the field last night for what they call competitive, what is it? Competitive something work, competitiveness work. I don't know. I know the term. I'm just a little frazzled with it, didn't write it down, but some good stuff out there on Gamecock social media about it with Vershawn Lee, Derek Moore, those guys. Really, really good competitive toughness. I think that's it. Competitive toughness work last night with Coach Luke Day. And Beamer was on the field last night and got a chance to get out there and do some drills that are all designed towards development, making players bigger, stronger, faster, all that good stuff. And of course, spring practice is right around the corner. So lots to look forward to with Gamecock football. Gamecock baseball, as I mentioned earlier, they start at 4 p.m. Friday against UNC Greensboro. 2022 baseball season gets started. It's always special at Founders Park opening day, all that good stuff. All right. Be sure to check out the Inside the Gamecocks podcast later today. Also, the bigspur.com. We've got plenty of great content for you. Encourage you to be a VIP member. Encourage you on this YouTube channel to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And we appreciate you tuning in. This has been the Big Spur Brief. JC Sherman.